All right, today we are diving into something really cool. It's not just a prediction or some futuristic fantasy. It's a detailed 10-year blueprint for what's being called the AI native factory. And trust me, this is about way more than just adding a few robots to the line. We're talking about completely rethinking how manufacturing works from the ground up. So let's just start with this one big question, just to get our heads in the right space. What if a factory wasn't just a building full of machines, but was more like a living organism, something that could actually think, adapt, and learn all on its own? And this quote right here, this is the absolute heart of the entire idea. This is not about replacing people. It's about creating this incredible partnership where we let machines do what they're best at, all the repetitive, predictable stuff, so that we humans can focus on what we're best at: creativity, judgment, and solving those really tricky, uncertain problems. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds a little like science fiction, but what's so powerful about this blueprint is that it lays out a really practical, step-by-step vision for how we actually get there. So what is an AI native factory? Well, here's the core concept. It's a system that's built from day one with artificial intelligence at its very center. The AI takes care of all of the predictable, routine, data-heavy work, and that frees up the human team to zero in on innovation and tackling the problems that a machine just can't handle. So, how in the world do you actually build one of these? Well, you don't. It's not about flipping a switch overnight. This blueprint lays out a super clear, phased journey that unfolds over 10 years. You evolve from having AI as a kind of smart assistant to having a fully autonomous system. Let's break down these stages. It all kicks off with the assisted factory. For the first 3 years, humans are absolutely still in the driver's seat, but the AI is like this really helpful co-pilot, making suggestions and checking our work. Then you move into the closed-loop factory, where key pieces of equipment, like a sealing machine, can actually start adjusting themselves. And the final goal, the autonomous factory. That's where AI agents are managing entire workflows based on high-level goals we give them, like minimize cost or prioritize this delivery. And this is not just some theoretical exercise, right? This whole roadmap is tied to real, measurable business results. I mean, look at this. The goal within just 5 years is to slash lead times by 30%, get a 10-point boost in quality, and seriously improve sustainability by cutting energy use. These are the kinds of real-world results that make this whole evolution worth it. Now, to really wrap our heads around how this all works, it's helpful to go back to that idea of the factory as a living organism. It's got a body, a nervous system, and a brain, and they all have to work together in perfect harmony. So the body, that's the actual physical equipment on the factory floor, but now it's intelligent. You've got AI-powered cutters that optimize fabric layouts to slash waste. You've got sealing machines using sensors to tweak themselves in real time. And you have these autonomous mobile robots zipping around, getting materials exactly where they need to be, right when they need to be there. The nervous system? Well, that's the digital glue holding everything together. Just imagine a setup where every single machine, whether it's brand new or decades old, speaks the same language. And every shred of data, from product designs to machine settings, is instantly available and consistent. It's this seamless flow of information that lets the brain do its job. And then you have the brain. This is actually a team of specialized AI agents, and each one has a very specific job. The planning agent? It can reschedule the entire factory in minutes, not days. The quality agent is spotting tiny defects a human might never see. And you even have an ESG agent that's constantly working in the background to minimize the factory's environmental footprint. It's pretty incredible. Okay, so this all leads us to the biggest, and I think the most important question of all. What happens to the people in this scenario? Well, as the factory itself evolves, so do the roles of the people who work there. It's really a story about upskilling, empowerment, and a new kind of collaboration. This comparison just lays it out so perfectly. It's a partnership of totally complementary skills. We humans bring that creative judgment, that ability to handle something completely unexpected. The machines, they bring relentless consistency and the power to crunch insane amounts of data. Put them together, and they are so much more powerful than either one could ever be alone. And you can literally see how this plays out over the decade. Job titles actually evolve right alongside the technology. So in the early years, you get new roles popping up like data sentinel. A few years later, people become AI trainers, teaching the system how to get better. And by year 10, the roles are almost purely strategic. People are acting as workshop directors, guiding the AI to hit the big picture business goals. And the result of this whole evolution, it's Kind of staggering, actually. The blueprint projects that individual human productivity will literally double. And this isn't about working harder or faster. It's about making every single person's contribution more valuable, more strategic, and more creative. It's a total shift from valuing manual repetition to valuing strategic oversight. All right, let's make this vision a little more real. I want you to imagine for a second that it's the year 2033. Let's just step inside this fully autonomous factory and see how it handles a classic everyday crisis. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. A call comes in, and it's one of those calls that gives factory managers nightmares. A huge customer needs to make a last-minute change to a big order. Now, in a traditional factory, this would just unleash chaos for days, right? But in this factory, by 9:03 a.m., that's just 3 minutes later, the AI planning agent has already crunched all the numbers and has generated 3 complete brand new production plans. One is optimized for pure speed, one for the lowest costs, and one that's a smart balance between the two. But, and this is so important, the human is still the one in command. At 9:05 a.m., the human workshop director looks at the 3 options the AI came up with, uses their own experience and judgment, and chooses the best plan forward with a single click. And then, boom, at 9:06 a.m., the second that decision is made, the entire factory reorganizes itself. Materials are automatically rerouted, machines are recalibrated, and the system even pings a sister factory to borrow some extra capacity. A crisis that would have taken days to solve is completely handled in just 6 minutes. That future is unbelievably exciting. But the best part about this blueprint is that it's clear the journey doesn't start in 10 years. It starts right now, with really clear, practical first steps that pretty much any manufacturer can take. So, the blueprint recommends 3 things you can do immediately. First, pick one high-impact process and make it your lighthouse project, your proof of concept. Second, create a small, dedicated trifecta team to own that process from every angle. And third, and this is the foundation for absolutely everything else, get serious about data discipline. Your data has to be accurate, consistent, and trustworthy, starting today. So the blueprint is here. It lays out a clear path to a future that's more efficient, more agile, and way more sustainable. The only real question left is, what is day one going to look like in your factory? Thanks for tuning in.